Virgil had a problem. At 12, his dad walked out and left the family. Virgil's mum was left to raise 3 children. And Virgil's football career wasn't looking great. Since he was 10 years old, he played for Willem. He spent a lot of time on the bench and he was seen as an average sort of player. Coaches did not believe he'd make it to the top. They couldn't work out if he was just too slow to spot danger or just far too relaxed and made too many mistakes. At 16, because Virgil wasn't given a pro contract yet, he got a job washing dishes 2 nights a week just to give him a bit of money. Being a professional footballer seemed a distant dream away. And then Virgil grew 5 inches in just a few months. This didn't help either. His coordination went, his back, his knees, they couldn't cope with the increase in height. But Virgil did not give up. A lot of gym work, and at 18, he was in the under-19s. Still, no chance of getting in the first team, and no pro contract either. Willem was struggling in the league, and they did not want to give youth a chance. First team manager didn't even know Virgil's name, and they weren't too bothered about keeping him or not. But then a scout from Groningen watched one of Virgil's games, and he had a very different opinion on Virgil, impressed with his composure and his technical ability. See, Virgil's first form of football was in the cages. 5-a-side tournaments, winner stays on. The Johan Cruyff Foundation built one of these courts in at least every city in the Netherlands. And this is where Virgil fell in love with football. And one thing playing in these courts helped with is technical ability. After watching him play, Groningen offered him a contract and a path to their first team. They rated him highly. But Willem finally said, "Okay, Virgil, we don't want you to leave. Here's a contract, sign with us." Virgil says, nah, it doesn't work like that. Just because another team have come in, you suddenly want me, I'm off. Groningen supported him and they gave him belief. The rest was just down to Virgil's drive to make it to the top. At 19, the 1st of May 2011, Virgil made his debut. 3 weeks later, Virgil was started as a striker in Groningen's second leg of their playoff to make the Europa League. First leg they lost 5-1. But with Virgil up top, he scored 2, and Groningen won 5-1, so it was 6-all in aggregate. Ended up going out on penalties. But Virgil's name started getting spoken about a lot. A centre-back that could play anywhere around the pitch. Following season, Virgil cemented his spot in the first team, but Virgil started to feel unwell. He ignored it and just carried on. But then his mum saw him and she said, "Virgil, you need to get yourself to a hospital now." They checked Virgil over and his appendix had burst. Emergency surgery was needed. Virgil lost 2 stone in just 12 days. He was unable to even walk. This is an eye-opener for Virgil. He realises the pressure's not on the football pitch, but when you're on the hospital bed. Virgil had to build himself up all over again, and he did. And he was back better than ever. The big 3 in Dutch football, Feyenoord, Ajax and PSV, were all linked with Virgil. Ronald Koeman, an iconic Dutch centre-back, was managing Feyenoord, eager to sign Virgil. But there's a problem. Feyenoord had no money left. PSV and Ajax weren't too sure on Virgil, but one man was. Neil Lennon at Celtic. He was after a centre-back and watched footage of different defenders. He came across Virgil and he could not believe no one else had snapped him up already. Thought to himself, something's not adding up here. Went to watch Virgil against Ajax and said, yeah, he is the real deal. During 2013, signed him for just 2.8 million. Before he arrived at Celtic, he always had Van Dijk on the back of his shirt, but he changed it to his first name. His dad had little to do with his life, so he didn't want that surname on the back of his shirt. After taking just a few months to settle in, Virgil became the best centre-back in the league. 15 goals across 2 seasons. Lethal from set pieces, taking them or getting on the end of them. Dribbling out from the back, finding it far too easy. Celtic realised quick, I'm not sure he's going to stay here for too long. Neil Warnock, when he was at Palace, tried to sign him for 6 million. Their chief scout said, nah, Neil, he's far too slow for the Prem. We're not signing him. But Southampton offer Celtic 11.3 million and it's agreed. Virgil's first season in the Premier League went slightly under the radar due to Leicester winning the Prem. Southampton finished 6th, just 3 points away from Champions League football. Virgil wins Fans Player of the Season, Players Player of the Season, the future of the club, and then Jamie Vardy changed it all. 2-0 up against Leicester. Virgil's just been announced Southampton's captain after Jose Fonte went to West Ham. A low cross comes in. Virgil clears it away. Vardy studs straight on his ankle. He tries to play on, but he can't. He's out for 5 months. Misses the League Cup final against Man United. And while he's out, his head turns. It's reported that Klopp met with Virgil to pitch his vision for the future. Offered him 180k a week. This infuriated Southampton because you can't tap up players like that. The Virgil's agent and Jordan Henderson's agent, they're the same. Both sides wanted the move. That season, Virgil goes to Cardiff to watch the Champions League final. Real Madrid versus Juventus. There and then he realises this is the level I want to play at. And Jurgen Klopp promised him that. Southampton put a complaint in about Liverpool's conduct towards Virgil. Liverpool say, we're really sorry, we're no longer interested in Virgil. But Virgil hands in his transfer request and his heart's not really in it. Plays just 12 more games for Southampton. No move that summer, but January, he's gone. Chelsea and City were circling, but Virgil already made his mind up. 75 million Southampton asked for. Liverpool said, yeah, you can have it. Many said far, far too expensive. Shortly after, Virgil makes the squad for the Merseyside derby in the FA Cup. Not even had a proper training session with the team yet. As they're warming up, Klopp says to him, you ready? Virgil says, of course. Klopp puts him straight in the starting 11. And the 84th minute, at Anfield, Virgil scores the winner. Not a bad start. Before Virgil arrived that season, Liverpool on average conceded 1.2 goals per game. When he arrived, 0.8. An instant impact. A year ago, he was watching the Champions League. Now he made the final. 3-1 loss to Madrid. Again, Virgil was not done. The following season, 2-0 win against Tottenham, and he won the Champions League. Followed by ending Liverpool's 30-year wait of winning a domestic title. That's 75 million, looking like a decent investment. Virgil's become the greatest centre-back in the world. The following season, another big setback. Pickford comes flying out. Virgil's cruciate ligament snapped. Out of action for 254 days. When a player has a serious injury, they may never come back to their best. Virgil looked like he may never reach the heights of 2019-2020. But now, under a player he once played against, he looks better than ever. The most touches, the most completed passes in the Prem. Top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League.